All right, fam, I haven't done one of these in a while. We're doing a day in the life. Probably haven't done one for like a couple of years now. So we're gonna look at what over the last couple of years has looked like, how the day in the lives have progressed. And we're gonna take you guys on the day in the life of a real estate investor today. There's a bunch of different stuff that we're gonna do. Right now, I gotta comp a property because one of the things that we have to do today is we have to walk a property and get an offer out to this guy. We have partnered up with a company called propertyleads.com. And what I told them is I'm like, hey, I'm going to document everything that we do with you guys as leads. And one of the leads that just came in yesterday is this lead. So right now I'm comping this property, trying to see what it is that we can potentially pay for it. And then in the car, I'm going to give the seller a call, let him know where we'll kind of be at. We already had a preliminary call. And here's what we'll usually do. We'll usually try to get these deals locked up over the phone right then and there. However, since this one was from propertyleads.com, I thought it would be a great opportunity to go on the appointment and kind of capture all that. Not only that, it's on the way back from something that we're going to do earlier on today. So I'm just like, why not go on the appointment and show the people what's up? So right now I'm running some comps. I'm going to give this guy a call back. I told him I'd call him back in the morning, kind of let him know what it is that I saw in the market and confirm the appointment for later on this afternoon. But let's get into today. The bed bath count and the square footage. And I want to make sure that this, whatever it is that I'm looking at, maybe it's Zillow, maybe it's the MLS, wherever I'm getting my property information, I want to make sure that that matches with what is on public record. So I come here and I find the property card. This is the actual information of what the livable square footage is and how many bed baths this property has, year built and all that. Gives you all the information. But what you want to look at here is, okay, we have the first floor, which would be this floor, the second floor, which would be that floor, which is the upper story finish. So you're looking at 1,008 square feet on both of those floors, but then they're not considering anything else as livable square feet. Here's why this is important. Well, they have a basement here. So obviously if we keep that as, they have a garage here. So obviously if we keep that as a garage, that's not going to be livable square feet. But if I'm willing to guess, this garage probably cuts off in halfway of the house, which leaves this space here as empty space. That could maybe be utilities, or maybe they have finished it, or maybe there's an opportunity to finish it. But here's what that does. That takes our livable square footage from 2016 to add 448. What's that? Almost 2,500 square feet. Right. So now when we're looking at comps, we're not looking at a 2,000 square foot home. We're looking at a 25 square foot home. That could be the difference between like a maybe 725 ARV to a 775 ARV, and that could make or break the deal. Right, so today is what I would call a field day. We're in the field. We're out here getting active in these streets. Okay, we're going on appointments. We're actually going to shoot a podcast right now with my guy Mark. We sold the property to him, I would say maybe a few months back. He already renovated it really quickly, put it back up on the market. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to get into some other things. We'll drop that full episode along with this day in the life as well. But so what do we got today? We got some property walkthroughs. We got a podcast, or we got to go file a memorandum. Some of y'all don't even know what a memorandum is. This is your saving grace, besides Jesus, to save you from a deal. Okay, this is when somebody is trying to back out. Somebody is trying not to obey what they have already agreed to, and they're trying to back out of the deal. This is what saves you. I'm going to get into details into that later on when we go file it, but that's one thing that we're going to do that property walkthrough. You might see some live negotiating. You guys would probably hear me talking to sellers, hear me talking to buyers, hear me talking to my team later on. Me and my team will hop into meetings and make some calls and do some underwriting and all that. Literally just going to do everything. A lot of the times, wholesaling is not a field day, right? It's not going out and going on all these properties and doing podcasts and all that. Wholesaling really is just marketing and sales. So for the majority of our days, this isn't even what it looks like. It's us just in meetings, us on seller calls, us helping the team underwrite deals, helping leads get generated. Like, that is what wholesaling is about. For me, I run our wholesaling department, but me and my wife also flip properties. So I kind of got my hands in a couple different things. But on a typical wholesale day, like let's just say you're just starting out and your main goal is just to find deals and get contracts, dude, you should be sitting in your house making dials, making as many dials as possible, putting out as many offers as possible. Is not that sexy. Wholesaling is not that sexy. It's just banging the phones and getting people under contract. That's really what it's all about. For the first, I would say, 2 or 3 years of my wholesaling career, that's all I did. Bro, this is what my day would look like when I was first starting out. I would wake up in the morning, I would do role plays. So I would hop in a meeting with like 20 to 50 other people that were doing the thing that I was doing and would practice the conversations that we were about to get into that same day. So somebody would pretend to be the seller, somebody would pretend to be the buyer, and that would get us started for the day. After that, I would hop in another Zoom with maybe like 2 or 3 other people that were doing the same thing as I was doing that day. They were calling sellers and negotiating and getting sellers under contract. And I would call a seller, and then one of those people would call a seller. And we'd just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And we'd be doing our follow-ups for the day that were in our CRM. We'd be talking to new leads. We'd be trying to get deals over the finish line. And I would give some feedback to that person. They would give some feedback to me. And it was good to just really get this, really get some traction going. This business is lonely. So if you're trying to do this business alone, good luck. I personally am an extrovert, so I get my energy from people. So it gets me jacked up to be in a Zoom with people or be around people making calls. I can't just be alone in my office, hanging out by myself, just making dials. That would drive me crazy. I would actually stop because that's not where I get my energy from. You gotta understand like who you are and what gets you jacked up. So that's what I would do. And then maybe some of those days I would have an on-site appointment. I would book an on-site appointment and go to that appointment. And the rest of the day I was managing my team and getting the virtual assistants up to speed and their conversations of what they were having. That's really what my days would look like in the beginning. It was just me focused on how do I get in front of as many motivated sellers as possible. So if you're just starting out wholesaling, to keep things very simple, because wholesaling is simple, just focus on how do I get in front of as many motivated sellers as possible. And in my opinion, the easiest way to do that is to generate leads. Maybe you generate leads with a virtual assistant, or you pay a company to generate you leads, kind of like what we're doing here with propertyleads.com. You pay somebody to generate leads, or maybe you're just starting out and you really don't have too much money. Go out and do the dang cold calls yourself. I don't recommend that. I think that anybody that is watching this video, you would be surprised. I bet you are more qualified to be spending your time not cold calling and actually negotiating, even if you're new. I think your time is probably worth more than talking to a bunch of people that probably aren't interested. Here's what happens when you're cold calling. You're gonna be calling all day. You're gonna be on a dialer for 8 hours straight, and you're never gonna talk to a seller. You'll talk to maybe 2 or 3 motivated sellers that aren't even interested right now. They're motivated, but maybe they're not gonna be selling for another 6 months. For me, I wanna be talking to the people that are trying to sell right now. But you gotta do what you gotta do in the beginning sometimes. So that's what I'll be doing. Now, today, right now, we're on our way to a podcast. So I'm excited for that. Actually, matter of fact, I forgot. I gotta call this seller that we were just underwriting that deal for. I talked to this guy yesterday. Actually, really quick, some of y'all are like, Mike, why don't you just lock up the deal over the phone? And some of y'all might be like, Mike, why are you going through a sales process with somebody before even getting to the appointment? Why don't you just have the conversation while you're at the appointment? Because there's really 2 different views of this. Some people, they only like locking deals up over the phone. They never go on an on-site appointment. Some people are the complete opposite. Some people just get their foot into the door, find somebody who's interested, and then immediately book an on-site appointment and go there and do the entire sales process there. Here at Silver Homes, we're like, I'm gonna call us hybrids when it comes to that. We'll do a mixture of the both. And the beauty of having a small team, we only have 3 sales reps and me as the sales manager, so like 4 of us really negotiating and getting deals done. The beauty of having a small team like that is you can, especially for me as a sales manager, as I kind of oversee everything, I can discern myself and think about, well, hey, this makes a lot of sense to just give an offer over the phone for whatever reason. Maybe we aren't too close on price. Maybe there's like a 50-50 shot of us getting the deal. If I know that we're close and this is a hot lead and I know that there's maybe competition on the deal, I'm not even thinking about it. Let's go on the appointment. Or if I know if it's 25 minutes from the office and it's a very easy thing to just go on an appointment, then cool. like let's go on an appointment. But for the leads that we're generating them throughout the entire state of Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and some of Connecticut. So that gives us a massive bandwidth of leads that we can reach out to. Problem with that is sometimes we'll be talking to a lead that's an hour and a half away. And it's like, are you going to spend your time trying to go on that on-site appointment that's an hour and a half away? Now you just drove an hour and a half there, an hour and a half back. You're probably driving in total like 3.5 to 4 hours throughout the day just to maybe not even get a deal. I would much rather get really, really good on the phones to put myself in the best position to get that deal over the phone. And if I get that deal over the phone, great. If I don't, and I know that we're close, maybe we just book an on-site appointment after that. So this just comes to discernment. You guys might be like, Mike, that's just dumb. Like, why wouldn't you just have a special SOP in place? How is that scalable? Well, this is the beauty of having a small team. You're really able to understand. And what we do is we just squeeze the juice out of every single opportunity that we have, and we are as efficient with our time as possible. So we take any and every lead as possible, squeeze the juice, and all of our skill sets and everything that we have access to with just the small team that we have, and we squeeze the juice and make as much money and as much opportunity out of what we got. My coach in football used to say this: take what the defense gives you. Meaning, whatever the defense is giving you or whatever life is giving you, you got to take it. So you got a small team right now, take what you got and run with it. Second floor, unit 2. We here in the great city of Taunton, Mass. This is where we at, bruh. Or not.
What up?
Marky, what up, my guy?
How you doing, buddy?
Good, how you doing, bro?
Good. How you doing?
This is my guy, Jai.
Hey, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, Jai.
Nice spot, bro.
Not bad.
You took over the school or what?
Yeah, it's we brought up the city of Taunton.
The entire school?
Yeah.
What?
We made it an office up here. And now we just went out all the school rooms.
I love that.
You know what I mean?
So was this a school before you bought it?
Yeah.
Really?
It was a school like years and years ago. And the city used it for like the Board of Health of the city of Taunton.
Yeah.
And then we just kind of came in and kind of spruced it up. Kind of did what we had to do.
Love that.
December 28th, it was sold February 6th.
Oh my gosh.
And we made 65 grand.
Damn.
So I think that it's kind of, we can kind of take everybody through the
Yeah.
whole process of like.
And tell all the other buyers why they're knuckleheads for not buying it.
Yeah. So, but I just think it was a little,
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I appreciate you.
I appreciate
it, bro.
All right, podcast wrapped up. We are on the way to a seller appointment. So I got to call the seller and confirm because we tried calling him earlier. He did not confirm, but he texted me and said, I'll see you soon. But I just want to call and confirm. I want to give people a white glove service, you know? And if you're going to be late, let them know.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Tomas, how you doing?
Good, man.
Hey, I'm on my way. The GPS says I'll be there at 12:42. Just wanted to give you a heads up.
Okay, no worries. I'm here.
All right, brother. See you soon. All right, so we'll head over to this appointment. You guys will see what a property walkthrough looks like. Going into this deal, I looked at the comps earlier this morning. I think, if you guys remember back, if we can add the basement to the livable square foot, I would say we could add another 500 square feet to the actual livable area. If we could do that, we might be able to push for like a 775, 800 ARV. If not, I think the ARV is more so at like 725. And I think we're probably gonna have to be, let's see. I think this one, if anything, will be a novation agreement. A novation agreement is where you pretty much just flip the property without ever buying it. I'll go into the details later on if that's what we end up doing for this property. But I would say if we're doing a novation on this deal, we're gonna have to be at like low 600s. So we got some negotiating to do. I think we're like $50,000 to $100,000 off of what this guy claims that he wants. But you gotta get in the room, man. You gotta negotiate. Okay? We just shot the podcast with Mark. And what I was saying to Mark, and one of the things that we were talking about was, I was like, hey, when my team gives an offer and they get told yes right away, I'm like, yo, you left way too much money on the table. You guys should push for a no. If you push for a no, you just got to work it. Be patient. Go in. This doesn't mean like you're lowballing and manipulating people, but you're leaving money on the table if you go in there and offer the exact asking price right away. And you're putting yourself in a bad position to sell the deal later on, which is actually putting the seller in a bad position. So what you'd want to do is you want to run your numbers conservatively, give an offer, not an egregious offer to the point where you're taking advantage and stealing a property from somebody, but a number where you personally would like to flip the property at. So how I like to run my numbers preliminarily is, hey, where would I buy this property at? I'm conservative. I am going to put some buffer in for my rehab budget. I might be conservative on my ARV, and that's what my offer is going to be. It might be a little bit lower than we can actually get the deal done for. But what happens is you'll give the offer, and that offer is conservative. And when that offer is conservative and it's a little bit lower than their number, when you're going back and negotiating back and forth, it ends up being a win-win for all parties. And here's what happens, by the way. Let's just say a seller says they want $250,000, and you go ahead and give them $250,000 right away. Like you have a 5-minute conversation with them and say, oh yeah, we can do $250,000. I can almost guarantee that they're not going to sign that deal. You're going to be like, Mike, what are you talking about? You're giving them what they want. But here's what they're going to think subconsciously in their mind. They're going to be like, is something wrong here? Am I leaving money on the table? Something doesn't seem right. Something's too good to be true. So it's got to be worked out. It's got to be a win-win for everybody. I've never done a deal in my life where it wasn't a win-win for all parties. It wasn't a win for the seller and for the buyer. So let's see what we can make happen on this deal.
But we've been here for 12 years. That's about it.
You bought it when they built it?
It's brand new.
Love that.
Yeah,
so they just did this whole
this.
subdivision, huh?
Yeah, this is the newest subdivision in Abington.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a private way. When those in the next month, you'll see these trees bloom.
Yeah.
All white.
Oh, it's probably
and
beautiful.
People usually park right here and walk up and down the street.
Uh-huh.
Because it looks like Washington, D.C.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? Where you got the cherry blossoms.
Love
And
that.
that's all my property right there.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, so my sprinkler system in this house is connected under the street to that. But what happened is that when we bought the house, the developer didn't have the street finished.
Yeah.
But as soon as the city came in and they finished the street, they shut off.
Got it.
They shut off the sprinklers to that zone.
So is that
So I have
buildable?
12 zones in here. All that's mine. That's a zone. This zone. That's a zone. There's a zone right over there.
Oh, you're saying just the lawn right there.
That
Or
whole
this
lawn
entire
and
land.
that island right there. See that island right there? That whole, like you can't. It's hard to see, but when it blooms, you'll see all the flowers and everything pop up.
But you own this land right here?
Yeah.
Like over there?
Yeah. And then my property goes all the way back to here.
Do you know if it's buildable or not over there?
No, it's my see where if you go like 30, 40 feet back,
Yeah.
that's my land too. That's a part
Got
of
it.
mine. That's a part of mine. So this is like almost 15,000 square feet
Okay.
of a lot.
What would prevent that from being buildable?
It's not that much. It's only just that little piece right there.
Oh, okay, got it.
Just, hey, give it to me. And then you've got this guy over here. So
Got it. Oh, he owns that right there.
no, I own all that. That's all my. There's a piece here that I own.
Yeah, just a little chunk right in front. So there wouldn't be enough
When the
lot
builder
area?
Came in, he put that up.
Yeah, the
That
fence.
fence and that fence.
Got it.
He put all the trees up because mandated by every house, he had to put 3 trees up.
Mm-hmm.
Because this used to be all swampland.
Mm.
This is nothing but swampland.
Wow.
And then he filled it. He filled it and built all these houses. And there's only like 3 houses on this street that's done by 2 separate builders.
Wow.
Because Richard just like, I'm done. I want to go relax.
Okay.
You guys beat me up enough. But
Like-
in reference to the house, this is not vinyl. That's ceramic tile.
Mm.
So when you feel this, that's not vinyl.
Got it.
So he built it pretty quality. I was going to get a new one of these here soon too as well. That's nothing.
All right.
The only thing I do have a situation on is you can see that a couple of the tiles are kind of one on this side, one on the other side that need to kind of be re-hinged or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
See that right there?
Yep. That's not a big issue.
Yeah. But other than that, the house is sturdy. So all this is the foundation of the house, you see?
Mm-hmm.
So what he did is he built the whole foundation, then built the house on top.
Right.
And the reason why they have mounds there, you see the stick there? That's the sewage.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that because my sewage system connects to the town.
Yeah, because you're on the main road over here?
I'm on the main road.
Love
because
that.
The original house never faced this way. The original house, the old house that was on this property was a ranch.
Oh, wow.
And it faced that way.
So the address was on that street?
Yes.
Got it.
And so the house faced this way, and the driveway was over here.
Mm-hmm.
So if you imagine a house right here, a ranch-style house looking at the street, the driveway to get into the house is over there.
Love it. So did you help him, or were you the one that came up with the plans and stuff, or did he already build it?
It was a point in the time in the market where the market even tanked worse.
Yeah, right after 2008.
Yeah, it got worse. Come in.
Beautiful house.
Bathroom over here.
Okay.
And then you have a pantry. I kind of built the pantry on myself, and then I hung coats in there.
Love that. You mind if I take some pictures?
Yeah, man, go ahead.
They won't be going anywhere. We'll just be using it for underwriting. So when were you guys looking to sell?
As soon as possible. I have another offer today with another individual who's calling me up.
Nice. And you guys are still looking for a
Go
rental?
online. I think they still have the original pictures up of when the real estate agent took the original pictures.
To be honest, it looks better. It looks better coming in here. Because I saw those pictures.
It's hard for me because I'm the owner, so I know all the little nook and crannies that need to be fixed.
Right, you've been in here for 12 years.
So it eats me up alive.
I get it.
This right here needed to be fixed. That's nothing. You just get a carpenter to kind of adjust that. And then that damn little puppy dog that we have
No problem.
came over here and bit this up. That just needs to be sanded.
Okay. You know, I think you would do really well on the market, I think.
Oh yeah, no, I talked to a couple real estate agents.
Yeah.
This house will probably sell within 2 weeks for like $755, $760.
That's where we were coming in at for our comps.
Yeah, I had 2 real estate agents that did the comps on it. They said,
Yeah.
Tomas, could you go to 770? Yes, it'd probably take you maybe a little bit longer to get that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you wanted to sell right away, 755, somebody probably scarfed this up real quick. I know a couple houses here going on for sale here soon.
Nice.
On the left side. They're probably going to go for like 950, 970.
They're bigger.
They're bigger, yeah. They have the extra room. Like this family room would be extended.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then their garage, they have a big full basement. I have like a half basement in here. I thought I was going to have a big full basement, but what happened is that he put the garage underneath the house, and that killed my basement space.
Is the basement finished here?
No. I never
Got
really
it.
finished.
How about down there in those houses? Do you know?
Yeah, they're finished. Some of them are finished. Some of them, they just do stuff in there. But so this is just the kitchen area. You got a kind of like a dining room over here. Some houses down the street have like an extended room off here. Like a little living room. If it's similar to this, what they did is they extended another room off this side, make it kind of like a little sitting room, stuff like that.
Great. So if you were to sell it on the market around like 750, realistically, you're looking at maybe like high sixes or something after closing costs, probably somewhere around there.
If I sell it for 753, that means the real estate agent probably takes away like, if they get the 5%, and they probably walk away with 37%, then whatever small little taxes. Since I've been here for 12 years, I don't really have a lot of capital gain taxes at all.
Yeah. Well, it's your primary residence, right?
Yeah. Let's go upstairs real quick. I'll
Cool.
show you the rest of the house. We can go downstairs. I got a couple little bites here from these 2 clowns. So if I brought in a carpenter, it probably cost me like $2,000. Yeah. And then to fix this, that little piece over there, knock that one little piece in. Then we paint. Shh.
Nice.
Shush. The master bedroom.
Oh wow.
Now there's no tub in here. You can get a top tub, or you can get a jacuzzi.
Mm-hmm.
So what I was thinking, if I was going to stay, I was going to tear this down, shorten the shower, and then put a nice tub or jacuzzi in there.
Right.
There is electricity already built for it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to attach a jacuzzi in there, the electricity can just go in. So this I kind of use in a little office, but
Nice.
in some of the other rooms, this is used as kind of like a closet, extended closet.
Mm-hmm.
And what this was, so this is really a three bedroom house with this little office thing, whatever.
Right. Because that door is in the hallway.
That door's in the hallway, yeah.
And that's the staircase right there, right? So you wouldn't be able to open that up.
So if you wanted to finish the ceiling, the upstairs, like my neighbor next door, this would be you come in here and you go up the stairs. This would be the stairway to go up to the attic.
So how do you get in the attic now? Just a drop down?
Just a drop down.
Got it.
I'll let you guys out the other side here. So all this stuff has to go into the dumpster. Fix some closet. I made that closets for my wife. You guys married?
I am, yeah. Yeah, Jai is too.
So that thing was empty. So I bought that closet. I made it. I built it for coats. And look at this shit right here.
That is hilarious.
This is her shit.
Females, bro.
No, man, it's a nightmare. I'm good. Yeah, so this right here, I just put this in this past year. So this is a whole filtration system. It's like $7,500 for that filtration system.
Yeah.
The whole house. So when you're taking a shower or whatever it may be, there aren't any chemicals and stuff in it.
All right, cool.
That's pretty much it.
Well, the main thing that we were looking at is, can we add some livable area down here?
Oh, I'm sure. I think if you get rid of all this stuff, this definitely, you can finish this if you want.
Yeah, there's really three main things they look at. One, ceiling height. Two, a full-size door. And three, a full-size window. I mean, it wouldn't be a problem to add a window over there.
You can put a window.
Even over there.
Yeah.
It's hard to get a window in the foundation, but
this is part of the house this is the foundation of the house.
That right there, yeah.
And then all electricity, everything rolls out that way.
Okay.
Connected to the city. But I mean, you could finish this basement if you wanted to, and people can use it as an office or whatever it may be. I think it's kind of clouded now because all this crap that's in here. All this stuff is like dumpster stuff. I'm gonna throw all this crap out.
Okay. Well, I'm thinking that's really the only. See, our play is like a value add play. If we can add some value somehow, and we do one of two things: either we'll put it back up on the market, or we'll keep it as like a corporate rental. Yeah. And if we do keep it as a rental, we'll have to be able to refinance later on. Yeah. So there have to be enough equity to refinance out of it. So if we can add some value to get the valuation up a little bit, then that would be the play to get you a price that you were looking for. But I mean, at the end of the day, if you put it on the market at $725, $750, the thing will probably move in a couple of weeks. So that's not a bad option. Yeah. Those real estate agents that you were working with, were you going to go with one of them?
No. I want a cash offer. I've got one guy that's willing to give me $300. So he's willing to. He knows that houses down here, one sold for $728 down the road, but this is a brand new house versus what they had. So he's willing to give me $300,000, and after the sale of the house, and then walk away.
Right.
Because they just basically, he's out of Texas, so basically he's just like, they just use it as rental properties. And they go from there.
So did they walk the property already?
No. He viewed it online. Took a look at it.
Got it.
Went in the internals to see exactly what I owe on everything. And he said, "Hey, this is the best offer I can give you." So we'll see what happens.
Can I be honest with you? I can imagine, because I do this business, I teach the business, I have a mentorship and all that type of stuff. So I see what people are doing throughout the entire country. Yeah. What a lot of people will do is a lot of people will try to get a property under contract. Yeah. And then maybe bring it to a buyer like myself or network with somebody else and just try to get the deal off. And they'll bake in a little like maybe 15-day due diligence period, which is fine. Like we do all the same stuff too. But a lot of the times they just don't know what the heck they're doing. Right. You know what I mean? So they hear, oh my gosh, the seller is really ready to move forward. Yeah. but they've never bought a house in their life. They've never done a deal in their life. They don't really know, and they're just going to go ahead and sign an agreement to try to get it sold, and then it doesn't sell.
No.
So, like, if it's too good to be true, if that's how you feel, it might be too good to be true.
Yeah, no. I mean,
but I think there might be equity to do it.
So nothing's going to be signed unless my lawyer gets involved and looks at everything. So
yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say.
I don't sign anything unless my lawyer's involved and he looks at everything and we're good to go.
Yeah. I was gonna say I could look at their agreement too to make sure that they're not they're not BSing. But either way, I mean, we're here to be a buyer too.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then let me know what
we'll try to make your
how you want to do things, and I'll take a look at it. I'm not signing anything or trying to go with anybody just yet.
Yeah, fine.
I'm not starving. But I want to make sure I get the most for the house. Well, real estate's fine. I mean, look, I don't care if you sell a house for $770. I mean, it's just the difference for me is just basically getting as much money as I need.
Right. Which is a $300K.
300, 320, 310, 280, whatever it may be. I'm not really.
What do you owe on it?
I think it's like 405 or 420, if that.
Got it. Okay.
It says 303 on the thing, but we had an issue where I was trying to find a job like 8 years ago. So the bank gave me, what do you call it, when you push everything to the end of the mortgage and stuff like that. So
yeah,
on paper it says 303, but when you dig in, it's I think 425 or something like that.
Yeah, like a forbearance or something.
Yeah. So we're just trying to do that and then go from there.
And mainly you're just trying to get your price and not have to do any like showings or anything like that?
I don't want to do a lot of showings because it's just a bunch of people coming in here looking at it. They don't buy. If you can't tell by the, I mean, if you really have somebody hot that's ready to rock and roll, then you can bring them over here and show them. But if it's somebody just looking at
just tire kickers,
I ain't interested in that.
It's annoying, bro. That's why I'm not a real estate agent.
Yeah, I want somebody who's a serious buyer who's going to come in.
Who's going to close on it?
On it and let's go. You know what I mean?
Would you be open to maybe waiting like 3 months or so if we can agree on a price that makes sense for you?
When you say wait, what do you mean specifically by wait?
Like if we could give you some money up front and guarantee the number, would you be able to wait like 3 months? Like typically our closes are 30-day closes, but when the numbers are tight, sometimes we'll ask for an extra like 2 months on top of that.
Yeah, put it together. See what I mean. Is that because you're trying to find a buyer that's kind of coming?
Exactly. So instead of us going out, closing on the property, doing the work and doing all that, we'll just partner up with one of our actual retail buyers, like one of the conventional buyers. We'll do whatever they need to get done. We'll put the work into it, and then we'll give the seller money up front so that they can. You're probably not in this situation, but a lot of the times we're dealing with somebody that is stressed out and they need 10 grand or something to get on to the next phase of their life. So we'll say, hey, here's 10 grand here, pay the mortgage for the next couple months.
Yeah.
Go put first, last, and security on a new rental, and then we'll facilitate everything for you.
Yeah.
There's an option for that.
Yeah, put that together. Let me take a look and see what's going on.
Okay.
It's not like, I work for myself. I work for a lot of different celebrities and stuff like that. So.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. So
what do you do for work?
Branding. So I basically.
Oh, love that.
Private label branding. I do a lot of. They launch brands into the marketplace. Like David Ortiz, he launched chips and salsa and stuff like that. So I was responsible for his stuff.
Really? So you were working with Big Papi?
Yeah, David's a friend of mine. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and then a bunch of others. Gail Godot and all those guys.
That's really cool.
Yeah, so I do that. So it's fun. But so it's not like, I just want to do something to move on because my wife has never been really happy with this house.
Really? Why?
It's a little too small. We want to get something bigger and stuff like that. So for us, I don't want the hassles of putting a sign out there, real estate agent coming on here and then getting money, and it's just I don't want the house. Well, it's hard because I got 2 dogs and then I got another dog, and then you got people coming in and out of the house. And then,
it's a pain in the butt. You're trying to do your work. Yeah.
I mean, the good news is that, I think this year there's probably a little bit more houses than there were last year. But I think next year there's probably going to be a lot more houses.
Yeah.
So the economics I'm looking at is I can end up losing a lot of equity in this house.
True.
And I know that for a fact because when Biden came into office, what he did is he threw in a lot of regulations into the home buying process.
Right.
And with that being said, what Trump is now doing is
the reverse. We were just talking about it.
If he removes the regulations, And if you know Fannie Mae and those guys, they just let go of a lot of people.
Yeah.
When they remove those regulations, it can actually be a decrease of almost 20%.
Yeah.
So if my house is right now predicted to be at 823, it'll probably be somewhere around 680 at the end of next year.
Yeah. Smart
so
decision.
I don't want to see myself lose that kind of money. And then,
yeah,
my wife's like, oh yeah, but I was like, yeah, but money's money. It's
yeah.
I see the market going down in the next year and a half. I don't see it going up.
Yeah.
I think that this is.
I was just talking to one of our partners. He funds a lot of our deals.
Yeah.
And he was telling me how Trump is trying to force a recession for a small amount of time, with that being in the next year or two, to try to get things back together.
You know what Ronald Reagan said, right?
What do you say?
A recession is when your neighbor loses his job.
Right.
A depression is when you lose yours.
Right. I like that. Well, hey, let me do some work on this. I'll pretty much figure out what we can buy for it in cash. I'm gonna be honest with you, it's always the lowest number that we give a seller, that anybody's gonna give a seller. So if anybody's coming in here saying, hey, I'll give you what you would get for on the market for it.
No, I'm not looking for that. I'm not, I'd like to.
Yeah, it'd be great.
I know that going through this process, I'm gonna lose some money.
Yeah.
But I'm not stupid to that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Just, we'll see what happens.
Fair enough.
I just want to see what everyone can deliver, and then we'll go from there.
Sounds good.
All right, man.
Tomas, appreciate it. All right, so we will break that appointment down. Here's the play here. It's probably going to be a novation agreement. That's why I planted a seed for that, just to get his mind kind of going a little bit and see if it'd be even open to that. I think that's going to be the only way that we get it done. The guy that he was talking about from Texas, most likely just a wholesaler that doesn't know what the heck they're doing. They're saying they're going to come in here at $700K. There's no way. I just don't think that you can get a deal done at that. I mean, maybe if you add livable square feet to the basement and get this thing to be well over 2,000 square feet, maybe you can push a 800 to 900 ARV. But there really wasn't even enough room for that. And somebody that didn't even see the property, there's a lot of things, bro, that I did on that appointment that were just very subtle. In the comments, I want you guys to point them out or ask, and I'll reply. So what we're gonna do, a lot of the times in an on-site appointment, here's how the layout goes. I will go to the appointment. Notice, even on that appointment, I did this. Before I even walk into the property, I'll chop it up with the seller for a good 5 or 10 minutes, figure out what's going on, figure out how we can work together, chop it up, start bonding. You get right into the appointment with a big smile on your face, bring some energy to the table, and get connected. And you start having a conversation. After that, you walk through the property. There's a couple things that I did on that appointment that were intentional. Like when he was pointing out the things that were wrong with it, I'm like, oh, bringing my camera right close to there, yep, got to do that. That's just subtle. You don't want to go into a property and be like, oh my gosh, there's so much work in here. You're going to offend people. But also, you want to let them know, hey, yeah, there is going to be some work here. So walk through the property, take a couple pictures, chop it up. At the end of the property walkthrough, this is what I usually do when I know we're going to get a contract right then and there. We weren't getting a contract right then and there. One, he said that. Two, his wife's not there and she's on the deed, so she needs to sign off on the contract as well. But if I know that we're getting the contract there at that specific moment, I will say, hey, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my car. I'm going to talk to one of my guys. Usually I'll talk to one of my dispo reps. And we're going to come up with a figure. What's going to happen from there is I'm going to come back into the appointment. I'm going to let you know what that figure is. And I'm cool with you telling me no. If we're not a good fit, fine, no sweat, no harm, no foul. And I'm also cool with a yes. However, I can't take a maybe. So are you cool with telling me yes or no? Yeah, Mike, I got you. All right, cool. So you go back into the car, crunch some numbers, come back into the appointment, and you give the offer and you get the deal done. That's how it normally goes. I did not do that here because there was no contract to be done. What am I going to do? Give him the offer, let him hold on to the contract. Now he has a contract for forever and I'm at the mercy of him answering the phone. No, you got to be wise. And when this is what we have called in Silver Homes. We just added this to our sales process. We call it the buyer's process. What's our process? You got to think about what is the best process for us to get the deal done. Sometimes that is sending the contract over the phone and getting it locked up. Sometimes that's going on an appointment. Sometimes that's going on the appointment and then going back to the office and giving the offer over the phone later on when he's with his wife. You got to figure out what that is while you're talking to the seller and with what you have at your fingertips for resources. For this deal, I knew, one, we were shooting media today, so it would be a great opportunity to walk a property. For two, I knew that this was going to be on the way back from the podcast place. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just go on the appointment. A lot of the times I would probably just get this thing locked up over the phone. Think about it. Some of you guys are like, how the heck are you guys getting properties locked up over the phone? Well, if you think about that guy was about to sign with somebody from Texas that never saw the property. So like, if you do a good enough job over the phone, you can get it locked up over the phone. And some of you guys are like, why the heck are you guys wasting your time on an appointments if you could lock it up over the phone? Well, if it makes sense and you can add it into your day, then just go on the appointment. I will tell you, you are much better off going on an appointment to get a deal done than you would be not going on an appointment. If you went on the appointment 10 times out of 10, you're gonna get the deal over if you just call them over the phone. But don't make that as an excuse not to be good over the phone, because you can close deals over the phone. Now what we gotta do is we gotta go to the bank and get something notarized. This thing is called, right here. This thing right here is called a memorandum, an affidavit of memorandum. This pretty much just tells everybody in town that we are purchasing a property from a seller, okay? Here's the circumstance. We have a property under contract. As we had it under contract, the seller found out, actually, I shouldn't even say that. The seller thinks to himself that he thinks that he could get more after we made an agreement together. We have a signed agreement. Like, we already talked about it. There was like, hey, you sure you want to do this deal? Yeah, I want to do this deal. Okay, great, let's do this deal together. We have a signed deal. And after the fact, he was like, you know what? I can get more money, I think. Not even I know. Not like, hey, I know I can get more money. I have an offer right here. Just, I think I can get more money. So he's trying to back out of the contract. And for us, if we're going to hold up our end of the bargain, we expect other people to hold up their end of the bargain too. And this isn't a deal where we like came in and manipulated somebody and got a banger deal. Dude, this is just a regular deal. So there were just maybe real estate agents in his ear saying, yeah, you can get more money. Or another buyer saying, hey, I could probably offer you more money. Dude, like, we already have an agreement. Imagine this. God made a covenant with us to save us from our sins. Imagine one day if God was just like, you know what? I'm going to go back on my word. Never mind. That covenant is null and void. Never, forget it. I can get a better deal somewhere else. No. God had made a covenant with us. He never is going back on his word. So if we're all going to do business in integrity and keep our word, we expect that the people that we're doing business with to do the same. And essentially this person's trying to back out of the contract and get maybe a couple more bucks, maybe $5,000, $10,000 more dollars. No, dude, we already have partners involved with this transaction. We already started working on the deal. This is what we're doing. We're moving forward. So ultimately, this piece of paper, what this does is this tells everybody in town, it's recorded with the Registry of Deeds that says that Silver Homes is buying the property and nobody else can buy it. We have an agreement in place with the homeowner to buy the property and nobody else can buy it unless they contact us. So what happens is in the event this seller went to go sell the property to somebody else behind our back, they would go run title, the buyer would run title, and the buyer would say, hey, what the heck? We saw on title that there's some sort of company named Silver Homes that's supposed to be buying the house. What's up with this? And what would have to happen in order for them to clear title, in order for them to close the transaction out, is they would have to contact us, and one of two things would happen. Either we move forward with the transaction that we agreed upon, or they would have to pay us out in order to release this affidavit. And that's how you save your deal. So at the end of the day, by the way, this goes for wholesalers too, because I will do this. If I put a property under contract and I am out of my due diligence period and I screwed up, the seller deserves my earnest money. If I put down $5,000 and I don't perform and I'm out of my due diligence period, the seller deserves that. If I am purchasing a property from a wholesaler and I do not perform and it's my fault, they deserve my earnest money deposit because I screwed up. Have some integrity, man. Whether you're a buyer, whether you're a seller, whatever you are, man, we just expect everybody that we're working with to operate with integrity, and we hold them to it. So that's what we're going to do right now. Very simple piece of paper. Just states that we have an agreement to buy the house. This has to get notarized and sent over to the Registry of Deeds, and it gets recorded. Hi, do you guys have a notary here? Incredible. Could you guys notarize something for me?
Hold a second, go right down here.
Yeah, for sure. All right, after a long day in the field so far, we're back in the office, still got work to do. Got to meet with the team, go over some deals. Got to get some deals to the finish line. There's some deals that we have under contract, and today is actually the last day for due diligence, so we got to work on that and figure out what we're going to do with that. And what we do with the team every single day is we do something called the Power Hour. And in the Power Hour, all the sales reps make dials, and whoever hops on the phone with the seller immediately unmutes, and everybody else hears the call. So once that person unmutes, everybody else stops what they're doing and listens to the call, and all eyes are on that person, and we try to get deals to the finish line during this hour. It's a really good time to just get the team jacked up and everybody negotiating together and people laughing at each other, making jokes. It's just a fun time to get everybody jacked up about sales. So we do that, and then what else do we got today? Oh, that appointment that we were just on, we got to give that guy an offer. And yeah, we got to make stuff happen today, bro. Day's not done yet. Let's get into it. All right, Power Hour up in this joint, fam. Let's go get some contracts, man. Let's go talk to some sellers. Let's go do this sales thing. Let's go get told no. Let's go get our negotiating pants on. Let's go make some things happen, bro. This is where the magic happens, over in Power Hour. You feel what I'm saying? All right, y'all know the rules. Make dials. Unmute. Once somebody answers, unmute. The rest of us listen. On your marks. Get set. Go. So we have a seller in the system. This came from the propertyleads.com. The propertyleads.com leads. And the seller said, I kept hammering them. Here's what happens. When you have a deal, when you have a lead that comes in and they don't answer, you got to make it happen. You got to call them from different phone numbers. You got to text them. You got to leave voicemails. You got to get these people on the phone, man. These leads ain't cheap. Felipe said someone doesn't know the rules. Felipe, I'm also recording. So these leads ain't cheap. And what happened is this seller said, hey, I have a loss of hearing. I have a loss of hearing. And then I said, well, can we do a visual walkthrough? And he was like, yeah, maybe tomorrow.
Hey, Tracy, how are you? This is Brendan Gallagher. Can you hear me?
Okay, I'm at work. Can you call me back? I'm in the middle of training a client.
Yeah, absolutely. I can call you back. You still thinking about selling your place on Main Street in Bellingham?
Maybe, but now's not the time. Thanks. Bye.
All right, when's good? Click.
Wah, wah, wah. Pretty good job, bro. Extending that call.
Good jumping in there.
Next.
Yeah, I'll try tomorrow.
So anyways, I told the seller, let's do a FaceTime. And he said, yeah, maybe tomorrow, which is today. Let me text him. Just FaceTimed you from my personal cell when I will call 3 times in a row. I ain't scared, bro. I ain't scared, bro. And whenever they answer, it's never a problem. Maybe 3% of the time, if you call them 2 or 3 times and they answer on the second or third dial, it's never a problem. And you'd be surprised how many people answer on the second or third dial. Joe, this is Mike Gomes. How you doing?
Good, Mike.
Mike Gomes. I buy houses all around Massachusetts, and my team had told me that you were looking to sell the property in Chatham by chance. Were you still looking to sell that property?
Talk to me, man. What's up?
Well, man, how do we work together? It looks like you're selling a property, correct?
Well, I mean, it's on my agenda for sometime this year, but it might not be in the next 2 to 3 months. So I guess that's a question for you guys as to whether you want to wait for me.
Yeah, dude. I mean, we plan on being in business in a couple months, so we're down for that. I at least hope so.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will. It's Silver Homes, is that correct?
You got it.
Okay, just want to make sure. Yeah, I talked to your lady yesterday. Anyway, so you talked to me. I mean, you haven't been to the house, I assume. You saw it through whatever context you saw it, but what do you do with the house when you buy it? I'm curious.
Really, two main things. We either put some love into the property and then put it back up on the market if there's a play for that, or we'll just keep it as a long-term rental. Kind of depends. But do you live at this property, or is it a rental of yours?
It's not a rental. We have a home there in Chatham, and then we have a home in Florida.
Oh, love it. Got it. Like one of those snowbirds, huh?
Pretty much. It's about time.
There you go. So you get to miss out on the winters.
I do. But I miss skiing. But we just started doing this. We finished the house here in Florida last summer, so we're just kind of gradually getting our act together. We spent a few months now, and we'll come back and end of April, May, and then hang out for the summer, and maybe depending on what the fall looks like. So so like I said, so we're like we're toying with where we want to be and all that, but.
Right.
For the right price, I'll sell anything. But I don't think you're going to hit my price. So maybe that's a conversation to have up front.
Understood. I'm not sure yet. Haven't checked into the comps. What do you want for the purchase price?
I'd rather you tell me what you'll give me, and then we'll go from there. Maybe if that makes sense. I don't want to we'll put a number on it. But,
yeah, we could do that.
So the comps you'll find, if you go on Zillow, our value somewhere between 900, and $1 million. So, but comps on the street, we have the nicest house on the street. One just sold for $775. It's a piece of shit. Somebody's got to put $100,000 into it, the minimum. Another one up the street sold for a little over $700. So, it's that kind of neighborhood. But I have the nicest house on the block. So you might say, Joe, good luck with that, Joe, because I ain't gonna buy the nicest house on the block. We've had an estimate to put a second floor on. It's a one-story dwelling, so we do have plans that we paid, $10,000 for that I could give to you and say, hey, if you want to invest this kind of money, you can do that, and maybe you'll get $1.5 million for it. I don't know, you know what I mean? So that's whatever. So at least I know what's going on in the market, and I know what the houses are going for. I've had it for 20 years. I bought it in 2004. You know what I mean? So for the right price, I would sell it. But I mean, you guys are in business to make money, so that's you got to decide what it's worth to you.
Well, that's interesting. The plans that you got, were those all approved by the city and stuff like that, or were these just kind of preliminary things that you had an engineer do?
I believe they were approved. He took them to the town. I'm almost positive.
Love that. Well, at least that would bring you to a little bit over 2,500 square feet, huh?
Yeah, we're like 1675 now, something like that. So yeah, I think it was 1,000. So yeah, I think it would bring you close to 2,500, if not a little more.
Okay. Well, that's a pretty big deal.
I haven't seen them I haven't looked at the plans in a little while. So.
Oh, got it.
So that's the 2-year mark for us. So I couldn't sell it anytime sooner than that, so I could qualify for being my primary residence.
Right, for capital gains. Got it. So pretty.
You're all up to speed. So like I said, it's
So pretty much.
The most expensive house on the street. If somebody wants to pay for it, somebody will. Hopefully, when I sell it,
For sure. I mean, Chatham's super hot, especially if a builder buys this. I see maybe the only play would be to be able to build up to add some value to it. Because, well, actually, let me ask you this: as far as the condition of the property goes, what does that look like?
So it was built in '99. We've kept it up. If you go by it, if you're ever in the area, we put all new landscaping. I spent $10,000 or $15,000 for new pavers and this and the walkway and the backyard and all the plants. I mean, yeah, it's good but my wife keeps a nice house.
Yeah, I mean,
Super expensive.
I mean, if I was giving you some advice as a friend, if everything's all up to speed, sounds like you guys have kept the property up pretty well. This thing would probably sell in a week if you put it on the market right at a retail number that would make sense for you guys. If you just put it on the market with a realtor, you're going to get a way better offer from somebody like that than a builder like myself. However, if there is an opportunity for us to build up and add some value to it and make it make sense for us to come up to maybe somewhere around a retail number, then I could see us being a decent fit. And I mean, the good thing with working with us is we'd be able to set the close date up for October. So you guys are coming back to Massachusetts before the summertime starts?
Correct, yeah, around May, beginning of May. Mm-hmm.
Got it. So maybe when it comes time for you guys to get back over here, we could figure out if would be a good fit on the property or not. And then let's just say you guys come back in May, we check out the property sometime May or June, ends up being a good fit. We could just put the close date out for the day after you guys qualify for the 2 years or whatever it is, and make it pretty simple.
Well, yeah, and I'll save the commission, right? I mean, that's part of the attraction for us because, that's getting ridiculous. We pay these brokers to put a house up and have an open house and, 48 hours later you got 2 bids and I'm paying them 5%. It's like,
yeah, dude, you're coming out of pocket like 50 grand, 70 grand.
I know. So, yeah, that's crazy. So anyway, but yeah, I mean, that's fine. I mean, keep my number. If I get ready to sell in earnest, I'll have more of a conversation with him, but there may be an opportunity there to grab that piece of land. Anyway, yeah.
Well, would you guys be open to like coming to an agreement sooner than later? Let's just call it like soon here in the next couple of weeks or so, if we can come to a good number and put the close date out for October.
That's going to be up to your number. So it's going to be up to your number, but you should take a look at the property first before you do that. I think it would be in your best interest to do that. So.
Yeah, we can. Do you have the plans on hand by chance?
No, not in. I mean, I don't know. I have to look through my email. Maybe I have something back.
Okay, cool. So what do you think this property would sell for on the market as is right now to like a conventional buyer?
So you're not gonna let me get off the phone without giving you a number. The last Zillow I saw was $920,000. I'd like $1 million.
Okay.
So if that's a full retail and the comps are selling for $750, you might be like, Joe, good luck. Get a nice realtor that doesn't charge you 5%. Good luck. So that's up to you. You're looking at it. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot you an email right after we get off the phone, and then this lead was actually assigned to one of my sales reps, Dave. I'm the manager over here, and Dave's out of the office. He wants to hang out today. He doesn't want to do work like us.
He's a young guy. That's why. Okay.
You got it. No, he's a young guy. He has a nice fade. We call him DeVito Cedino's his name. So you can imagine what he's out doing right now. I'm just kidding. He's a great guy. He's a hard worker, but he'll be working your file from here on out. So I'm gonna send all the information over to David. I personally will send you over an email with David attached to it, and hopefully we can work together on this thing when you guys get back in town.
Sounds good. I appreciate the call.
All right, cool, Joe.
All right,
Have a good night, brother.
Later.
Bye-bye. Let's go. Hold on, Brennan's on a call.
Yeah, he had to get on a call because this other was calling him.
Let's get Brennan to unmute. Power hour, baby. Let's go. That could be a deal. If we can add 1,000 square feet, bro, we can get like 1.5 for that property, possibly. I don't know if it's gonna be worth it. Let's see, 1,000 square feet. It's gonna cost us.
I know the Chatham market is bonkers.
Yeah, that's your hood, bro.
That's not my hood.
I thought you were the Cape Cod guy, bro.
I am the Cape Cod guy. Chatham is not my.
Yeah, I mean, it would probably cost like $250,000 to do that addition. So call it. I think finally we got a number out of that guy. By the way, you can always get the number.
Yeah, I saw that. It was nice. Yeah, I think you asked like three times.
All right. Yeah, so you can always get the number, bro. By the end of the call, homeboy was like, "You ain't gonna let me off the phone until you give me a number." Until I give you a number, I'm like,
Fine, I'll tell you.
all right, 900 to $1 million.
You owe 900 to $1 million?
Which, if we can get like 1.5, let's see if we can get a 1.5 ARV, what that would look like. We might be able to get something done. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Those plans might help us out. All right, well, we'll call it a day at that for Power Hour. All right, so the guy that we went on an appointment with, we are about to call him and give him an offer.
Hello, Mike. How are you doing?
Tomas, I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Good.
All right, so I got a number for you.
Okay, let me get a pen here. Write this down. Okay. All right. Shoot.
You promise not to be mad at me.
No. You got to do what you got to do. I've got another gentleman that's speaking with me tomorrow at 10. So go ahead.
Okay, that's good. Well, good news is we can solve any sort of situation where you don't want to put the property on the market or deal with showings and stuff like that and close on it as is. The number that we're coming up with is 625.
Okay, so 625. All right, and then as is. Okay. All right, and that's you, Mike. Obviously, if we subtract that from, I got the balance of 625. So it's basically $200. So that's $200 there. 200,000. If I close on that.
Which would be the net to you after all the costs you're saying.
Yeah, right.
Do you have the total payoff amount? Like the exact amount?
Yep.
What was that?
It's 430. Oh, excuse me. It's less than that. It's 435, 608, 44 cents.
Got it.
So yeah, so that doesn't leave me with much. I'm probably better off putting it on the market and getting the higher price.
I would probably agree.
I'm gonna see what this gentleman has to say tomorrow at 10 o'clock, and then go from there.
Understood.
Yeah.
Well, where was the other guy at before? This guy that's coming here tomorrow.
I think he was somewhere around 700.
Oh, he was.
Yeah.
And he was a cash investor.
Yeah. Because he said that look, I saw that you guys, there's a house sold for 728. I'd like to at least let you walk away with 300,000 in your pocket. Look, let me just see what this guy has to offer, and then we'll go from there. Okay.
All right, sounds like a plan, brother. I'll give you a call. Maybe if I don't hear from you tomorrow, maybe I'll give you a call on Monday and see where you're at.
Okay. Yeah. Appreciate it. All right,
cool. Tomas, have a good night, brother.
Cheers.
Bye-bye. All right. Here's the deal, fam. You hang tight. You hang tight on your number, and you stick in the fight. Okay? What I think happens on that deal is I think there's absolutely no way in heck any cash buyer buys that deal anywhere north of the offer that I just gave him. Maybe 650 tops. But, dude, there's no cash buyer buying that house at $700,000. There's just no way. And then I guess there was somebody else that said like 725. I just don't see it happening. So what I usually do with these, here's the play here. Remember back in the appointment, I was like, hey, I think a novation agreement would be great here, which I think it would be. And I think that's where we can go after these two other guys give their offers. Actually, what I should have done in that call is said, hey, before you go ahead and sign with any of these other guys, just give me a call back and we'll see if we can work something out. That way he doesn't sign right away. But I'm going to give him a call tomorrow, see where they're at. I'll plant that seed and just say, hey, before you go ahead and sign with somebody, just let me know where they come in at. And then from there, what I think happens is he might go on a contract with one of these guys if they come in at an egregious number. And if he does, they probably won't close, and we're next in line. However, I didn't pitch a novation agreement right now because it's just too much. It's not a battle to fight right now. It's just like, hey, here's the number. The novation agreement's only going to be like $25,000 to maybe $30,000 more anyway. So it's just not even worth negotiating and going back and forth. Hey, let's stick to this number. Let's circle back, see where these other guys come in at, and then we can start negotiating numbers. Because he's not even in the he's not signing a deal today anyway. So negotiating and going back and forth with numbers, in my opinion, doesn't really make sense until he's really ready to get the deal done. So what I need to do tomorrow is what I should have done here, is get the upfront contract and be like, hey, before you go ahead and sign with any of these other guys, like, give me the last shot. Just, give me a shout back before you go ahead and sign and see if we can work something out. Anyways, that's it for the day, fam. I got a couple little more things to do, but I'm out. About to go back home, hang out with my wife, eat some dinner, and I'll catch y'all on the next video. Peace. By the way, actually, before I leave, if you have not already signed up at wholesale.mike.com, go to wholesale.mike.com, fill out your information. Wholesale.mike.com, what we do there is every single month we do a Zoom, we hang out. It's like a Q&A. I chop it up about some things. Maybe I might go over a specific topic, like we went over land last month, and we just get to hang out. On top of that, sometimes I invite people to the office to come make calls and hang out and just do life together. So go to wholesale.mike.com, fill out the information, and you will get the notification next time we do a Zoom or next time we're doing something in the office. I will catch y'all. Peace.